Welcome to the SoulAbility Superhuman Laboratory, where we uncover the secrets to upgrading your mind, body, soul, and business. Hey everybody, Dr. Mike DiMarco here, and in today's episode, we're going to go over my top 10 brain hacks. Now, taking care of your physical mind is just as important as taking care of your metaphysical mind. Now, you need to take care of your brain, your physical brain, so that way everything else can function optimally. So you can think the best, so you can perform the best, so you can be the best you. Now, this is a smaller piece of a talk that I actually gave a few weeks ago in Rhythmia, where we went over not just the mind and the brain stuff, but we talked about how to optimize your body. We talked about how to optimize your relationships and also a little bit of business. This is also kind of a smaller piece of the SoulAbility Body Blueprint. And if you want to get that, that'll actually be in the show notes, where you can just enter in your email and I'll send you over the Body Blueprint. And the Body Blueprint is something that I had a few people, actually a bunch of people go through, and people were losing like 40, 50, 60 pounds, just feeling better, functioning better, getting more energy, better skin, all these things just by following a few simple rules, rather than like me telling you like this is the program that you need to follow specifically. And following these rules is going to help you better than just like following a program, because I want you to learn something. I don't want you to just follow an exact program where when the program's over, you don't even know what to do. You don't know how to follow anything. And that's what the SoulAbility Body Blueprint is. So if you want to just go to the show notes, you can, or the blog post where this episode will be linked to, just go there, enter in your email, and I'll send you that. So let's just get into it. SoulAbility Top 10 Brain Hacks. Now, number 1 is a supplement, and it's omega-3 fatty acids, supplement and food. Now, the most important are DHA and EPA. Now, DHA is the major building block of the cerebral cortex, which we know is super important for our brain function. You can find it in wild-caught, cold water, oily fish, and also algae, which is what the fish actually eat in order to develop a high amount of omega-3s in their fat. You can also find it in like grass-fed beef, pastured eggs, pretty much animals that are eating the things that they're supposed to be eating based on evolution, based on the environment that they evolved into, rather than factory farmed animals where they're eating food that they weren't born to be eating, right? Not like soybeans and all that crap. Low levels of omega-3 fatty acids are linked to depression, ADD, mood swings, dementia, memory loss, even a measurable decrease in brain volume, not an increase. So like not having omega-3s, it's not going to just affect the way that you're functioning. It's going to affect the way that you feel, your mood, your emotions, the way that you're interacting with people in your day. So you can like think all the positive thoughts that you want, but if your brain isn't tuned in to not being depressed and being, I guess, elevated and feeling good about yourself, then it's going to be really tough to keep that positive thinking if the physical mind isn't optimized and tuned in for that positive thinking. Now, the dosage for this, I would say, is about 1,000 milligrams a day of DHA. So really just focus on the DHA. The EPA is important, but the DHA is actually the most important part of it. So whatever supplement that you take or food that you're eating, just focus on trying to get like 1,000 milligrams of DHA a day. And there's like a few differing opinions on this, but that's a good baseline, a good level to start at. And number 2 is another supplement, another mineral. It's magnesium. So magnesium affects over 600 biological functions in your body. That's how important it is. 600 functions in your body. That's how important it is. It helps with smooth muscle relaxation. It's even the 11th most abundant element on Earth. So out of all the elements on the periodic table, this is the 11th most abundant. So that's how important it is. If you're deficient in this, like you really shouldn't be, because it's so abundant on this planet, but 75% of Americans don't consume enough magnesium. Now, when you take magnesium, it can help in decreasing brain fog, decreasing fatigue, helping you sleep better, helping decrease cramps, because it's a smooth muscle relaxer. So it's going to help relax the muscles in your intestine and your blood vessels, and where all of the smooth muscle is, and even your cardiovascular system, and just help decrease the feeling of physical stress in your body. So when you decrease the feeling of physical stress, your emotional stress is going to decrease too. And you're optimizing your actual physical ability to decrease stress, as well as your mental ability as well. The most bioavailable form of magnesium that freely crosses the blood-brain barrier is magnesium L-threonate, Threonate. That's the one that I recommend that you take. That's the one that I recommend that you find. There are so many different forms of magnesium. If you're going to take a supplement form of it, magnesium L-threonate is the one that you want to take. You can also get it from foods, but a lot of our foods are magnesium deficient, and it's kind of hard to just get enough from food sometimes. So if you want to test it out and you want to take some magnesium for your brain function, magnesium L-threonate is the one that you want to take. And that's in a dosage of 200 to 400 milligrams a day. I would start at the lower end and then work your way up. Just go by how you feel. The best way to do any of this stuff, like by figuring out your dosage, is to keep a journal daily and just like write down how you feel, and then review it at the end of the week and see, based on the dosage, like what you were feeling at that time. And that's so you can kind of gauge the effects. Treat yourself like a little science experiment, like really investigate on what the best dosage is for you, because I can tell you all these things and you can follow and be like, what's the optimal dosage? And maybe you don't need to take all of these things. Maybe you don't need to take the maximum amount. Take the minimum dose possible to get the greatest effect. And that the only way you're going to be able to determine that is by actually writing down and knowing and listening to your body. Number 3 is vitamin D. Now we hear about vitamin D everywhere. Vitamin D is super important for brain health, mood, memory, healthy circulation, bone health. I mean, that bone health is probably the most primary, but it's essential for all these other things. Now, vitamin D is a hormone, right? So we need fat, we need cholesterol to actually make it. We also need sunlight to actually be able to make it. There's a lot, like I found that actually with some patients that I've had, older patients that are on cholesterol medication who have had like a bone injury, they have a hard time healing their bones. And a lot of doctors dismiss that it's the vitamin D. They dismiss that it has anything to do with the cholesterol medications that they're taking. But as soon as they come off the cholesterol medications and start getting some sunlight, they start healing their bones. So I don't know if it's correlation or causation, but I think there's something to be said there about limiting your fat intake and also taking cholesterol medications and decreasing vitamin D. Now, 70% of Americans don't get enough vitamin D due to decreased sun exposure. So we're constantly like putting sunscreen on or like covering ourselves up or not even going outside. And you really just want to at least go outside for like 20 minutes a week. Like that's not that much. If you could do it daily, great. Getting vitamin D and getting sun exposure, actually research has shown to decrease your risk of skin cancer rather than increase it. Now, there's like a point of diminishing returns where you don't want to overdo it and get burned and damage your skin, but we want to go out and get enough exposure where you're going to actually just increase the amount of vitamin D in your body and get the, just maximum amount of benefit. That's why you feel good when you go outside. Well, one of the reasons. And higher levels of vitamin D are also associated with increased levels of happiness. Very important for how you're feeling and how your brain is functioning. So the dosage, in my opinion, it depends on the person, right? So people with darker skin are going to produce less vitamin D. They're going to need more sun exposure to produce more vitamin D, just because, evolutionary wise, like you're going to be in the sun more often. So there's going to be less of a need to be sensitive to producing vitamin D. But nowadays, everybody's kind of in the sun like the same amount. So, and also in the summertime, if you're out in the sun, if you're in a place with climate, you're going to go out in the sun in the summer. So you might need to take less of a supplement. So get your levels checked. Normally the dosage for most people is between 400 to 2000 IUs daily, depending on your levels and sun exposure. And number 4 would be B vitamins, specifically B12. Not everybody's deficient in it, but if you are, it can have a serious impact by taking the supplement. Vitamin B is essential for optimal function of your brain, and it's used in many supplements because a lot of people are actually deficient in it. So when they take it in a supplement and it is cheap, they feel great and they have more energy. So that's why it's used in a lot of like energy drinks and pre-workouts and those kind of things, because if you're deficient in B12 and you take the B vitamins and it gives you energy, like you're going to feel great. And it's a cheap additive for a company to put in their product. So it's a little trick that they use. Vitamin B12 deficiency is fairly common, like I said, but if you already have adequate levels, more is going to help you. So it's not like taking more is going to be better. You just have to have a sufficient amount. Now, some of the best sources food-wise for B vitamins are beef liver, sardines, Atlantic mackerel, lamb, wild-caught salmon. If you're a vegan or vegetarian, nutritional yeast, feta cheese, grass-fed beef, cottage cheese, eggs. It sounds like a lot of these are, animal-based products, which vitamin B12 usually is an animal-based nutrient, vitamin. And that's why a lot of like vegans and vegetarians become deficient in the B vitamins. So if you're a vegan or vegetarian, nutritional yeast is one way that you can get the B vitamins into your diet without having to use an animal product. A curcumin is number 5 is curcumin, extract of turmeric. It's super important in Ayurvedic medicine, Indian medicine. It's used in a lot of Indian foods. Turmeric and curcumin, which is the active ingredient in that, is used in a lot of Indian foods. And India surprisingly has a low rate of Alzheimer's disease because of this. This supplement in the right form can really, really lower your levels of systemic inflammation. We hear about inflammation all over, and we know that inflammation has a negative impact in our bodies when it goes out of control. So increased inflammation have been associated with heart disease, with cancer, with diabetes, with a lot of these lifestyle diseases that we have are linked to increased levels of inflammation, even like joint pain and stuff like that, increased levels of inflammation. And curcumin helps with your brain. It boosts serotonin, dopamine, and brain-derived neurotropic factors. So it actually helps with your function of your actual brain besides just reducing inflammation, so everything can function at its optimal level. It is also one of the only supplements that increases the natural levels of DHA in the brain. So you can take all the fish oil, right, and get the DHA and the omega-3s, but you can also take the curcumin and increase your natural levels of DHA in your brain. It also helps protect against stress and depression. So helping all these things is going to help with just emotionally how you feel, but as well as the physical components of how your brain is functioning. Now, not all forms of this are bioavailable. So by bioavailable, I mean your body's ability to absorb it and use it. To improve bioavailability, we need to combine it with black pepper extract or piperine or phosphatidylserine. Now, there's a form called Mariva It's one of the most bioavailable forms. I think it's the one that's used in all the research that where all the positive research that shows that curcumin and turmeric are actually beneficial for your body. The dosage would be like 1 to 2 grams in the morning. There's also a lot of range on what the dosage we feel should be. So just my opinion, 1 to 2 grams in the morning should be fine. Just help you optimize your brain function and decrease inflammation. Number 6 is not a supplement, but it's actually a thing that you need to do. And that's limit the amount of blue light. So blue light is important, right? Blue light helps us when we wake up in the day, in the morning, and we go outside and the sky is blue, and we get this blue light to stimulate our eyes. That's the little receptor in our eyes. It shuts off our production of melatonin. So we no longer need to sleep. But we get too much blue light. We have blue light on our phones, blue light on our screens, blue light on our TVs, on our computers, on our LED lights, all these things around us, and it's constantly bombarding us, and it's confusing our mitochondria. It's damaging our mitochondria. It's damaging the mitochondria in our eyes and our brain and our heart, where we have the highest concentrations of these little tiny, almost like protobacteria that live in our cells that are part of us, that produce all the energy in our bodies. Now, one way to do this is, if you have an iPhone, or a lot of phones have it now, where you can turn on night shift, where night shift limits some of the blue light, not all of it, but it's a good start. You can get a Flux, F.LUX for your laptop or computer, and limit a bunch of blue light with that. There's other software too, I think, that maybe even limit it more. I just can't remember the names. You can also get blue blocker glasses, which are these glasses. Sometimes they're orange. I've seen some clear ones that limit the amount of blue light going into your eyes, so you can wear them throughout the day or also at night, and regulate your ability to release melatonin. So you release it at the right times. Artificial blue light blocks the production of melatonin. So we want to, limit that, right? So we don't want blue light at night when we need the melatonin, and we don't want it too much of it during the day, because then it's going to take us too long to start producing it again. Now, chronically low melatonin has shown to lead to lower mental energy and cognitive decline. So it's going to help, it's going to make you, your brain function not as well as it could. And you're going to maybe lower yourself a few IQ points. Like, I feel like right now, I need to limit my exposure to blue light because my brain is not functioning as an optimal level. You can also increase your exposure to wide spectrum of light by using incandescent bulbs, natural light, candle light, infrared light. So natural light, incandescent light, and candle light and infrared light don't just emit mostly blue light. They emit a wide range of different types of light. So it's not just that one light that's hitting those receptors on your eyes and your brain. It's a variety, just like, sunlight, or when we were, before we had light bulbs, we had candlelight and fires and those kind of things. And that's what we used to see at night. And number 7, top 10 brain hacks, brain exercises. So you need to take care of your physical mind by eating the right foods and taking the right supplements and doing the right things. But then you need to train it. You need to make it stronger, because if you don't use it, you lose it. Meditation is my number one go-to. It helps improve the connections within your brain. It helps you, focus, helps you connect with something bigger than yourself. It helps you clear out all the junk that's in your head. I find when I meditate a lot, I don't need to sleep as much, especially if I go into a deep meditation, and it just helps me reset anytime I'm getting stuck throughout the day. It helps me be more creative. It literally changes the connections in my brain to help me be more creative. Mindfulness-based practices like positive focus journaling, focusing on increased awareness, focusing on your breath, focusing on your body. Those also help train your brain, right? You want to do that so you change your way of thinking from negative to positive. And when you start focusing on the positive things, the negative things start to seem happening less and less and less. And then you reinforce all the physical work that you're doing on your brain with this mental work. And then it seems like everything just starts happening for you and everything starts happening good for you. And there is still some bad stuff, but it's generally positive, and that's how you start making progress. Like all the entrepreneurs that I know, the most successful ones, are some of the most positive people that I've ever met. And it may be a result that they've already achieved success, or they already have had a positive outlook, and whenever obstacle came in their way, they didn't see it as an obstacle. They saw it as an opportunity to get to the next step, to get to the next level, to where they needed to be. Physical exercise, like actually working out and stimulating those endorphins and training your body, is also going to help train your brain. It's also going to help your brain function better. Like your body needs movement in order to function optimally. Music, like not all music, but certain types of music, like classical music, binaural beats, those kind of things are going to help stimulate the connection and creativity in your brain and stimulate these alpha wave states that are going to help your brain function even better than it is without them, right? That's why music is such a powerful tool. Like it brings us to another place. It helps us think, it helps us learn better, but it has to be the right kind of music and sound. And number 8, this is one of my most favorite supplements. It's the lion's mane mushroom. Now this mushroom, I take it in a capsule form, but there's also a few other forms like mushroom coffee, and it improves brain function. And there's actually a Japanese study that showed improvements in cognitive function with a certain dosage. So while you're taking the supplement, they did some tests, some brain tests on these individuals, and they showed that this supplement actually helped them think better, actually helped them function better. Lion's mane also has a physical component of change where it enhances neurogenesis, which is the generation of neurons, and helps with neuroplasticity by promoting the increase in nerve growth factor. There's research in some rats where it's shown to promote nerve regeneration after a limb injury, which is super amazing because those are things that we didn't think was possible. And this mushroom is actually helping to improve that. It's also shown to fight against Parkinson's and Alzheimer's disease, decrease anxiety, boost your mood. It also has an antimicrobial component, which is going to help kill some of the bad bacteria in your body. And it also has shown to decrease inflammation. For cognitive enhancement, the dosage that I've seen, the dosage that works for me, the dosage that I've seen in the research is between 1 to 3 grams per day. You can take it in a pill form. You can take it the mushroom coffee. I think the mushroom coffee by Four Sigmatic has about 2.5 grams of the mushroom in it. So it's a good amount. And it doesn't have a lot of caffeine. It only has 40 milligrams of caffeine. You're going to really feel the difference. Everyone that I've given to, it's not like a speedy kind of feeling. You're just like in flow, right? Everything just flowing. It's a really, really great supplement. Or you could just take my favorite brand for the lion's mane is Host Defense. You can dose it out, accordingly. Take 1 to 3 grams. It's a capsule form. It's really easy to take. Number 9, which I love to combine with the lion's mane, is a form of choline. So choline is found in eggs. It's one of these great nutrients is alpha GPC. Now, alpha GPC is a precursor of choline that actually effectively crosses the blood-brain barrier. So this is actually a barrier between our blood and our brain that a lot of nutrients can't cross. And alpha GPC, along with the magnesium L-threonate, one of those nutrients that actually can cross that barrier and actually get to our brain to be able to have an impact. Choline is essential for brain development and neurotransmitter formation. So without it, a lot of these things won't work. We need to have the building blocks in order to build those neurotransmitters to be able make our brain function optimally. Now, some of those neurotransmitters examples are, dopamine, serotonin, and GABA, which is gamma aminobutyric acid. And we need the choline in order to make these neurotransmitters. Now, when we have sufficient levels of choline and sufficient levels of these neurotransmitters, there's associated with increased levels of relaxation. So a lot of these things are going back to decreasing stress. And when you decrease stress, your body's able to function optimally and you'll feel better and your brain will work better if you're not stressed out. Now, alpha GPC has been in multiple studies to show improvement in memory and attention span of people of all ages. It's also been shown in research to ward off mental decline. So if you're taking alpha GPC, as you get older, that, I'm just getting older, my brain's not working as good as it should have, will help to decrease that effect. You actually maybe can maintain your brain function as you age. Like, age is just a process that we go through, but it doesn't mean that you have to actually decline. Some Alzheimer's medication even increases levels of alpha GPC. So that's like how some of this stuff is working. It's increasing the levels of this to helping their brains to function better. Alzheimer's patients actually have often dipped below 90% normal levels of alpha GPC in their brain. That's why the medication helps so well. Alpha GPC may help recover from strokes, TIA, or even traumatic brain injuries, right? So I tell a lot of my fighters that come into the office that have a lot of brain injury, they're getting hit in the head all the day to take this stuff because it really, really helps. The optimal dosage that I've seen is between 300 and 600 milligrams a day. And that's going to help you to see the difference in cognitive function. And like I said, the way that you can decide your dosage is to keep a journal and see how you're feeling and write down how much you're taking that day and then go back and review it. That's the only way you're going to know the best thing for you. Now, number 10 is something that I like to take personally from time to time in a supplement form, but you can also do things dietarily to achieve levels of this in your bloodstream as well. And those are ketones. So what ketones are, it's when your body converts fat into energy, it turns them into ketones to be used as energy. So we can't just use fat directly, it turns it into ketones, right? Ketones are an alternative fuel source to glucose, which is, carbohydrates, which we commonly associate with energy. But ketones are actually shown to cross the blood-brain barrier like super efficiently. And there's different forms that you can take it in. You can produce your own by following like a high-fat ketogenic diet, or you can take what are called exogenous ketones, which is like beta-hydroxybutyrate. You take it and you can actually increase your level of nutritional ketones in your body, where if you test your blood, you're going to have higher levels of ketones in your blood. You can also take medium chain triglyceride oils, MCT oils. The best form is caprylic acid, which my favorite one is the Bulletproof Brain Octane, where you put that on your food or you take it, you're going to also show to increase your levels of ketones. And the best way to actually increase your level of blood ketones with supplements is by combining the MCT with the exogenous ketones. So the research has shown that by combining them, you're going to have the highest levels of increasing your ketones by taking supplements. When you take ketones, that helps improve cognition, increase athletic performance. They're also neuroprotective. They're going to protect your brain and protect your own cells. They're anti-inflammatory, and they're even been shown to be anti-cancer. All right, so cancer cells can't use, most types of cancer can't use ketones as energy. They use only glucose. So if there's low levels of glucose in your bloodstream and your body's functioning mostly off ketones, the cancer cells are actually going to starve. And as a bonus today, I just want to list my top 5 memory foods for you guys that I love, that I love to include in my diet. and they taste great too. I'm sure a lot of you guys use them. Number 1 is avocados. Love avocados. Great source of fat. Number 2 is coconut oil. Coconut oil that's the main source of where people derive MCTs from. It's just a really good oil to use, a high smoke point. Number 3 are eggs. Now, by eggs, not just any eggs, they have to be pastured eggs from chickens that have been, roaming around and eating the things that they're supposed to be eating. So you get those high levels of omega-3 and choline. Fermented foods is another one. Give you those great probiotics. So the bacteria in your gut can function properly and help your brain out, because they do say, your gut is your second brain. And number 5 are green leafy veggies. So those will give you vitamin C, vitamin K, magnesium, B complex, and the fiber in those will also feed the bacteria in your gut, the good bacteria in your gut, to be able to function the best that you can be. So I hope that helped you guys. It was a super brief overview of those things. If you want to get my SoulAbility Body Blueprint, just go to SoulAbility.com, go to the post for this blog, the blog for this podcast, and enter in your email, and you can download the guide. It's a super helpful guide, and I will see you guys on next week's episode. Have a great day.